How we doing, everybody? Hello, welcome. How you doing? Stephen, are you able to, are you there, Stephen? Stroud?
You can probably hear me now.
How you doing?
Hello. Hi, Miss Quinn.
How you doing? Welcome.
Get my light, hold on. I can't see.
Hi, Mr. Sullivan.
How are you?
Good. Hayden's waiting for you.
Oh, don't worry. The paperwork was set today or yesterday.
Sorry, my computer does this thing where it says there's a feedback loop and it goes silent. I didn't hear what you said.
No worries. The paperwork was just settled yesterday.
Awesome, awesome. So you'll be coming back.
Either tomorrow or Monday.
Okay.
More like Monday. We've been in training all week.
Okay. All right. That'll be fine. Yeah, just give me a heads up on a good time for you, and I'll make sure.
We'll do for sure.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. You guys got my email?
I got an email from you.
Yes. You did or didn't?
I think so.
Awesome.
So that was you. I have like a bunch of them sent, like from different people.
Well, good to hear.
Let me check.
Yes, Matthew Sullivan. Yes, I do.
Perfect. I'm happy it worked.
Yes, I got your email.
Awesome. I can do those little things right. Imani's the pro, though. Imani's the pro with the technology.
That you, Mr. Calviny?
You're muted.
Yes, hello, how you doing?
You look different.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm in my basement. I've been in my basement for a couple weeks now, so I think I'm just exhausted.
Oh, okay.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Everything's going well.
Are you guys teachers?
Teachers and administrators.
Okay.
I'm actually Mike. I'm the executive principal. My name is Mike Calvanese. I oversee Duggan, Kennedy, and Kylie. And Matt is the associate principal. Amani is on the call. She's the assistant principal, and Steven Stroud is like an assistant principal as well, but he helps oversee instruction in all three buildings. So a little bit of everything. But I hope you guys are hanging. How's your summer? You guys doing okay? Hanging in there?
Yes. Kind of can't wait to find out what's going to be new for the year.
I know.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Listen.
Now, Steve, I was going to talk to Steven for 1 second. Steve, are you able to make me a co-facilitator here? Is that how that's
I
going to
just
work?
made you a co-host, so you should be able to now share your screen.
So I could share a screen? I'll
Yep.
share. I'll wait a little bit. We have we're going to start around 5:32-ish. If you want to sign in into the chat, you can do that. Just your name and your child's name, and we'll have record of who's here. If you could do that, there should be a chat button on the bottom.
Yep.
And who sees the chat, Steve? Do I see it? And can you make us a meeting?
Everybody can see the chat. So if you click the chat, the way it works on my computer screen is I click the chat button, and I can see everybody's head in the main part of my screen, and then over on the right there's a chat. And it's important to remember that if you write something in the chat, that new people who show up won't see what you wrote. They'll only see everything that since they joined.
Miss Kimberly, can you, in the chat, just to me, can you just send me that email that you would like us to send things to?
How do I
I
do
just
that?
sent her a message, Miss Hines.
You know what we could also do is people can change their names so that we see who your child is. I just put my name and then I changed it so that you can see my role. I'm the academic director.
Oh, you want to change your name?
Hmm?
You want to change the name?
Hmm?
So you can see, so they can see that you're Madison Veteran.
Yeah. You can't, Tom. Just forget it.
Tell them that you're Madison's mom.
Here, you talk.
What?
I think you guys are on mute. Some people were on mute.
Oh, no one's saying anything right now. We're just waiting until about 5:32. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
What are you doing?
Mr. Sullivan, how did you just walk through that background?
Mr. Sullivan is magic.
And he's also on mute.
I'm not that magical, I guess. I have a virtual background, which is going to be something that we're going to be teaching the students to do as well. And I don't know, it just keeps, from seeing all the distractions that could be in the background.
Awesome.
And
It's pretty cool. This afternoon when we were in training, I had this one up because I
And it
thought
was-
it went pretty well with the day.
it was raining outside while it was happening. If you want to try changing your background, I can show you how to do it.
All right. Yeah. How do I?
All right. So on the bottom of your screen, you probably have the Zoom menu bar where it says mute and stop video.
Right.
There's a little like up arrow next to the stop video symbol.
Okay.
And when you hit that, I see one that says choose virtual background. If you
Okay.
have that, then you can change your background. And we're going to be teaching your children how to do this so that
Okay.
when they're in class, we just get one background. And everybody will have a kind of a neutral experience.
Awesome. Let's see if it works. Oh wow! I'm on the beach.
There you go. You see, you just joined me on the beach. Miss Smith.
Pretty cool. Learn something new every day.
Can you explain to me how you do that again?
Yeah, ready? You have like the Zoom control bar at the bottom of your screen. Mine says mute, and then it says stop video, and then there are a bunch of other things like
Yeah.
chat. Next to the stop video, there's a little up arrow.
Yeah, I see that.
If you click that, one of the choices is choose virtual background. And I was doing this with teachers today, and some teachers didn't have that, and I'm not sure why. I think it has to do with,
Yeah, it says you cannot start screen sharing while other
Oh.
participants.
yep, that's
Yes,
actually
yeah.
different.
Do you see where it says stop video on the bottom left of your screen?
Yeah,
So there's a little up arrow. Do you see that in the stop video when you scroll over it?
yeah, yeah.
Click that arrow, and that should say choose virtual background. Do you see that?
No, I only see stop video. And then the arrow button that says share.
So maybe it's more like a caret within the stop video. There's like a little, almost a V.
Can you share your screen where it shows what it should look like?
I don't
Or
think I
what-
can right now because Mr.
Okay.
Cal- is-
Well, we could. Actually, why don't we? If everyone can sign into the chat and just put your student, if you just got on, sign your name and your student's name, that would be great. And as you do that, I'll let Mr. Sullivan try to get your background going. Mr. Sullivan, you can continue real quick, and then we'll get going.
Stroud, you want to do it? I think you can share, right?
I think, yeah, I can. You know what, here, I'm going to make you a co-host because I think you got it. Although I'm not sure if people can see your screen when you share. I don't know if people can see what your, the Zoom toolbar. There you go. Now
Well,
you're
we
the
can
co-
give it a go. Let's give
Give
it a
it-
go.
give it a try.
Sign in.
All righty. And I want my Zoom.
Say Kimberly and Donald.
How do you sign in with your student's name?
Just under the chat on the bottom, there's a if you look at the toolbar, there should be a item that says icon. I'm sorry, it says chat. An icon says chat. If you don't see it on the toolbar, go to the more button, and there should be a chat should be right in there. And
Okay,
just
I
type your
see.
name and
Yeah.
your child's name. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Stroud, can you
Yeah.
do it? I can't.
Yeah, yep. Mr. Calvanese, if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen for a sec.
Go right ahead.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So what I did is I took a little screenshot of my toolbar there. And so see how you have this mute button? If you have like noise going on in the background, you can hit that and your sound will turn off. If you want to stop showing us your face, you can always do that if you want. But we like to see your face, so keep your video on for a little while. But see this little up arrow? This is what you have to hit to change your background. So if I do that, I get a little words that say choose your virtual background.
You should
And then I
also
get
know
some-
that this does not work on all devices. So if you do not see a caret to allow you to open to see other things, it may just mean you don't have the capability on your device.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that.
All right. Now I have to share again, correct?
That's right.
Yes.
Or, yeah, okay.
Oh, look at Miss Lord has her students in the background.
Over here.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to get started. Let me just make sure, and everyone can hear me, correct? And see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, Stephen, I'll just ask you to, I'm going to do just a presentation for about 20 minutes, hopefully maybe even quicker. And then we can go to questions that you might have about the school year. But I want to start by welcoming all of you here tonight. And thank you for taking the time. Also to the teachers that are here on the call and the administration. My name is Michael Calvanese. I'm the executive principal of Kennedy and Duggan and Kylie. And what's great this week, we've been working together with all three schools, and the resources that we have are making each of those schools even stronger. So I feel like we're in really good shape. But I hope all of you are well. I hope your families are well. And we wish we were doing this in person. We really do. And I know your children wish that as well. But we welcome you tonight. The purpose today is to try to get some information out to you quickly, and then get some feedback and answer any questions for you today. There will be follow-up meetings after today. Today's a general information just to help calm the anxiety that's probably out there, nerves of wondering what's going on. But we will have some follow-up meetings. Our 6th grade will have several options on September 9th, one at noon and one at 5:30. I'm going to talk a little slower because of the translation down below. 7th grade is September 8th at 12:30, or the 9th at 6 p.m. and 8th grade is September 8th, 5:30 to 6:30. And in those meetings, you're going to get an opportunity to get more details, and we can get a little bit deeper as far as teacher expectations, grading expectations, and even student scheduling. And actually, I'm going to stop for one quick second. Introduction from staff. I'm going to ask that my admin team, I know there's teachers on the call, but I want to make this rather quick. I'll let them introduce themselves at the second meeting. But I'm going to ask the admin team to quickly just do a whip around and introduce themselves. Hopefully you can
Hello,
see them.
all.
Hopefully they'll pop up on the bottom.
Hello, all. My name is Matthew Sullivan, and this is going to be my 2nd year at Kennedy as the associate principal.
Hello, everyone. My name is Imani Hines, and I will be the assistant principal for 6th grade at Kennedy this year.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Stroud. I'm the assistant principal for instruction.
And there's a couple of their names there. Okay. And I'm not going to read the mission and vision of the building, but I do want you to know that we are dedicated to getting our students ready for high school. And even in a remote setting, our expectation is to have our students ready and our expectations raised for our kids. We also have an anti-racism statement that we are pushing our school and our everyone in our building to be more anti-racist. And what that means is we don't want any implicit bias going on in our buildings. We expect a high expectation for our kids. And we want to make sure we have an equitable education for our students, and we're closing the achievement gap. Last year we did some work around this, around standards and content. This year we're doing a lot more work with our teachers, not just with standards, but really digging into implicit bias and trying to make sure that we are always doing the best by our children at all times. So what about remote learning? What I can tell you is whatever the spring was like, that is not the case for the fall. The spring was a very challenging situation in which this obviously hit us all and caught us by surprise. And so the spring was not the way we expected to deliver remote learning. I think we did a nice job catching up, but it was a challenge and everyone worked hard to make it work, but we were all in this little bit confused state. Now that we've had plenty of time to plan, we are actually going into remote learning as if it is a school day, an actual school day that it will be done from home. And it will be a 7:30 a.m. start to 7:55 for crew. Crew leader, the crew leader, this is a really important note. Hopefully those that are been in our school know what our crew leader is, and those that aren't, our crew leader is our point person for our schools. And they really help develop relationships with families. And they help to get your child organized and to build team building exercise and to do team building within your, with our students and really focus on our habits of scholarship of respect, responsibility, quality, and perseverance. For your crew leader is someone you're going to want to know. And we expect our crew leaders to be making contact to you if they haven't already. But throughout the year, that is an expectation that you know your crew leader very well. So if you have any questions throughout the year, obviously we're here to support you, but your crew leader is your point person with anything to help you out. This year, attendance is expected. So we will be taking attendance in all classrooms, and teachers and students are expected to be in class every period, but teachers are expected to take attendance in every period. So that's something we're going to be expecting in all classes. What does a day look like for a child? It's a little bit different than it did look like last spring, and it's different than what it looked like last year even. Every morning, students will have crew. Then our periods are about 80 minutes long. They've actually are a little bit longer than they were last year. Students will have one block of ELA, math, or social studies and science. That is, well, they'll have more than that, but they have a core class of social studies or science, ELA, and math. And they'll also have what we call a flex block. A flex block is an opportunity for them to work independently with teacher guidance. And it's also an opportunity for kids to get what they need. Some students might need intervention, additional intervention times, and so they'll get that. Additionally, students will have 45 minutes of iReady 3 times per week. And that will be, they'll be working independently, but we want them to work independently during the time that their schedule says. And teachers will be monitoring that to make sure they're doing the right thing and staying on track. And if they need support, they can get it from a teacher that is available at that time. So in every one of these blocks that you see on this screen, there is a live teacher to be with your child. So this is not the responsibility of the parent. I mean, we are going to ask parents and try to help you support your child, but we expect that our students should be with teachers during a remote day throughout the day. Also during the week, there'll be an enrichment community meeting, and I think we'll have some events with our families there. But that will be, this is a 6th grade schedule you're looking at right now. So there'll be a 7th grade schedule and an 8th grade schedule. And this is just a sample schedule. There'll be others. This is just a sample. There'll be another schedule that you'll get for your child as we get closer to the start of the year. But the start of the day is at 7:30. School day ends at 2:55. And there's a lunch block in the middle, about 40 minutes. Grades and attendance. Schools will grade similar to a normal school setting. So last year, we ended the year with pass-fail. That will not be the case in a remote learning environment. Students will be graded at what we call an 80-20 rule. 80% of the grading will be on standards and content, and 20% on habits of scholarship. And we'll talk what that looks like. But when you get into your grade level meetings with your teachers in the coming weeks, they'll give you more specifics on what that looks like. But it will be an 80-20 rule, which means kids will be graded for doing the work. They have to be doing the work. It won't be a minimal pass-fail. There's one thing we did talk about, though. A student, we are not giving as zeros. We would do that. We don't want to give zeros to students, not in a remote setting, not in a live setting. So the lowest grade a student can get, not that we want to talk about the lowest grades, but the reality is that that does happen at times, is a 45 or 50. We're talking about what's the of the two, but they will not get a 0. So if you see a student getting a 45 or a 50, that doesn't mean they might not be turning anything in. We're just giving them a minimal grade. The core classes are math, ELA, science, or social studies. You will not see science and social studies. It's science or social studies, because what we're doing is we're having, for the teachers and for the kids, we don't want them to have too many subjects at once. So they'll take math and ELA every day, and then science or social studies for half the year, and then science or social studies for the other half of the year. I-Ready will be all year, 3 times a week, and then Encore, of course, is something that it's an elective like PE, art, or health that your child will also get. And some students might receive an additional grade on a report card beyond math, ELA, science, and social studies. That would be like ESOL, English Language Services. So you might see a grade like that if your child needs language services. So what can you do to help your child out? One thing you could do is obviously some rest. I know I have 2 kids, and you can hear their footsteps upstairs right now, but they like Fortnite, and or at least one of them likes Fortnite, and trying to fight to get them to sleep has been a battle. But I would just prepare them early, because we want them there at 7:30. So give them a quiet space to work would be great. Doesn't need to be a big space, just a quiet space. And if you can give them that quiet space and a good night rest, they'll be ready to go. And our teachers will help them get organized in crew in the morning. They'll go over their calendar, where they need to go. So an alarm clock helps, a little breakfast in the morning. And then I also recommend that you check into your students' PowerSchool through Unified Classroom once school begins, by going through their own Unified Classroom, going on there and looking through their assignments, and to make sure that they are actually turning in assignments. And you will be able to see that online. You'll see the teachers' names on Unified Classrooms, and you'll see assignments posted. And so if you see or have any questions throughout the year, contact your teacher right away. And our emails are very simple. All our emails are at springfieldpublicschools.com, and most of them are last name, first initial. So like Calvin East M at springfieldpublicschools.com, or you can go to our school website to access that information. We also recommend that before the school year starts, practice logging into your computer. I would do that probably tonight, tomorrow, or in coming weeks. If you have a laptop, practice logging in. Your child should still be able to log in. If they're not, then there's either a Wi-Fi issue or something wrong with your computer. We want to make sure we're off and running right from day one. So I have you check your computers to make sure they're good. We tell families that if you try to get on Wi-Fi, check the Wi-Fi connection first on the bottom right. Make sure that's on for the first time you log in, and then log into Unified Classrooms. If your child does not have a computer, most our 7th and 8th graders do have a computer now. That computer will follow you all the way through high school. So that is your computer. Please take care of it. You do not need to turn that into the school. If you still need a computer, just email myself and Mr. Sullivan, and we will get you one. We have more coming, and we're going to plan a pickup for computers the week before school starts. So hopefully most of you have computers. If 6th graders coming in from 5th grade should have had a computer from elementary. If they do not, don't worry about it. We will supply one. But just let us know. I have a good idea who needs one, but if you any issues with your computer, let me know. If something happens to your computer during the year, we do not want you to wait long. We would expect that computer should be exchanged in the main office, and you can pick up a new computer within 24 hours. We'll set up each front office so that there'll be an inventory of computers. So if something is wrong with your computer, we'll have a loaner, at least a loaner, to give you. And we ask you that you turn in the computer and the extension cord, or the charger, the charger to the computer, and then we'll give you another one right there. And when we say broken, it can even if the camera is not working, we would want you to turn that computer in. We would want the computer camera to work, because during instruction, we're going to want the students on their cameras at most times. So to get a new computer, just call the school, call the front office. You need a new computer. They'll take your information, and they'll probably get you. I don't want to wait more than 24 hours. I'm going to tell the main office the next day. We'll have you a computer. Some expectations around remote learning for students. Attendance obviously is daily. And I just want to talk quickly about attendance. Attendance is really important. And I think the state of Massachusetts, if you've been watching the news lately, have wanted teachers even in the buildings. So they're pushing to have kids in the buildings in a safe manner, but they expect if we're not in the buildings that there's attendance taken in all these classes and kids are actually in there as if it's regular school. And so that is a little bit different than the fall. We were trying to, in the spring, excuse me, than it will be in the fall. We expect kids in classes throughout the day. Participation is an extremely important part of the grade. It's actually 20% of your child's grade. And part of participation will be determined by the teacher when you speak with them, but part of it will be their cameras of the child should be on. So we would expect that happens. They can blur their background, or they can have a logo in the back like Mr. Sullivan has in his background if they want to keep it more private, which I would understand. And we might even, we're talking about actually making that mandatory, that we have a school logo or a blurred background for all kids, just to get away from any issues. And then also participation will be how kids participate on their chat. So like you see, there's a function here, a chat function. We're going to ask kids to, go back and forth with their class, with their teacher, and in some instances, the other students in the class through different platforms that we have. And so that will all go into a participation grade, which will be 20% of your child's grade. So some assignments will be graded daily, like the Habits of Scholarship will be a daily grade for your children. And other things might be graded daily, like a startup activity or an exit ticket. Sometimes we start classes with kids doing a practice problem, and teachers can collect that and grade that. Those are all expectations for teachers to be doing. So if your child's not there, they're going to miss out on that activity that will be a grade and have to make it up. And then there'll be some longer term projects, just like school, where they have a week to complete work, or longer depending on the project. Students should be dressed appropriately. We're not having students wear uniforms in the remote setting. So we would ask that they dress appropriately, and that just means, just something that you would have them wear on a dress down day in school, something appropriate like that. Actually, before I get in this, let me go into this. School support. So students in special education will have access to their teacher, their special education teacher, if that's on their IEP. And any IEP supports that are on their IEP will be provided as it states. Speech and counseling services will be provided remotely through Teams or Zoom. Teams or Zoom are the two platforms we will be using. This one's obviously Zoom. Teams is through Microsoft, and it's through their Outlook, their calendar. Language services will be provided 5 to 15 hours per week, depending on student need. And school supplies will be provided. There will be an opportunity to get some school supplies if you need some. We ask that parents do get, some things for their child, book, paper, pencils, those kinds of things. But we can supply some extra pencils and some composition notebooks, and we will supply that. We ask that families try to get a headphone for their child, and ideally with one that has the speaker component to it. Those are something we would recommend you getting. And also, we're going to try purchasing ourselves, but also a stylus, some type of pointer that won't damage the screen. You can get one pretty easily on Amazon, but we're going to try to get a couple hundred of those as backups for our kids. That way, when they touch the screen, it's easier for them to navigate. Books, most of the books that we will have for kids will be online. So they will be online. So that will be something that they can have through their computer. However, we do understand that a lot of kids, and myself included as an adult, like to work off paper. And so the week before school starts, we will go through a pickup system through the school, just like we did laptops, where you can come and pick up their math book, their English book that they're using. You can get your child's schedule the week before school starts and actually see their schedule, which will align to PowerSchool. So your child's schedule will align to PowerSchool. If you are concerned about any of the following, just call the school. I always just default to call the school if you have a problem. You're not sure how your child's doing. A staff member didn't get in touch with you, and you need to get, you thought they were, anything like that, anything on communication, anything you need at all, please make sure you just call the school at that number, or email us. Here's my email right here, calvinesm@springfieldpublicschools.com. I recommend just send me an email, and we'll make sure we get on it. Access to information. So this is on Springfield Public Schools website. The way you got here today, most of you, I think, either got through your email or went through Springfield Public Schools website. I definitely recommend that you check out Springfield Public Schools website, because we will update that website with information for you throughout the year. And you go to the Springfield Public School website, you go to schools, and then you find John F. Kennedy Middle School under schools, and then click on it. And then in there will be our page. And there'll be messages from me in there, Mr. Sullivan, Ms. Hines, and your teachers even in some cases. So we use that as our one resource, as well as Class Dojo and email. And then there's a YouTube video that we have posted on here. I'm not going to link on it right now, but there's a YouTube video that will help you navigate in multiple languages some of the technology that's out there. Our kids are using unified classrooms. There's an explanation of how to sign in on that. Their classes are most likely going to be through Microsoft Outlook, which is a calendar system where they can click on a link right in the Outlook, and you can see their Outlook calendar and actually see all the classes they're going to have during the day through that system. So for future meetings, September 9th and at noon, September 9th at noon and at 5:30 will be 6th grade. September 8th will be 7th grade, 12:30, and at, that doesn't look right. Okay, I'm sorry, 7th grade, September 8th at 12:30, or the 9th at 6, and 8th grade, September 8th at 5:30.
Mr. Calvinese, there's also 11 to 12 on that day.
On the 8th?
Number 8th, yep.
Oh, I just lost it. 11 to 12.
So for 8th grade families, 11 to 12 or 5:30 to 6:30.
So I just want to run through that rather quickly, give you an idea of a school day, what it looks like for kids, and then sort of go through the chat. So if you have questions, and I'm sure we can answer some of these questions on the chat right now, but know that there will be a follow-up coming up for each of your grade levels. Do we have any questions in the chat, Mr. Strad?
I think we've been answering all the questions. The only question I didn't see if it was answered was if a student confronts connectivity issues when connecting to classes, what can they do? Is that counted as an
Mr.
absence?
Stroud, I did answer that question for that.
Okay.
But go ahead, Mr. Calvinese, because
I think our teachers are, I think what we're looking for is just our teachers are going to be very open to those situations. I think if we see that happen over time, we'll have to figure out what that issue in connectivity is. But if it's here and there, that shouldn't be a problem. And I think with that, it's just communication. So if that does happen, when the connectivity comes back up, you email your teacher or your assistant principal or me, and we'll just make sure we communicate on both ends with that.
and there's
the biggest
also
thing we need to do is push for our attendance of our kids. And I know it's gonna be a challenge because they're home, you know what I mean? And we got a lot going on, but it's my kids, myself, like I say, they're up later than they should be, later than they should be. But I got to get them back in the mindset of school.
Mr.
I'm really
Calvinese, there's
concerned,
also-
and I know you are as well, that, March to June and now fall, we're starting remotely, not knowing when we're going to be in school, and just concerned that all of us are, like, we don't want our kids missing out, both socially, but also academically. We want them to get ready for high school, and we need them there. So we're going to really be pushing that hard and try to support them, not just academically, but social and emotionally, because this is a challenge for them. I can't tell you how many times we've seen kids. I think every time we saw a student, a lot of kids, people say scholar. I say kid, I'm sorry. I say kid, that's how I am. But every single child said, I miss school, I want to go back. Not one, and I get it. And we want them back, but we're going to make this a great experience for them anyway, this way. I promise you that. And we're working really, really hard right now with our teachers to make this an experience for our students that is engaging, that has high expectations, and that has all the supports that they would get when they were in school. So that's something we're charged to do, and we are dedicated to doing that work. And we have a great staff to do it. They really do. And I'm proud of them. So,
Mr. Calvinese, there's also the middle school help desk, but that will be the student help desk, which is going to be on Teams that we'll probably be putting in the packet for you guys so you know where to go if there is a computer issue that can be fixed. If we can't talk you through it as a teacher and administrator here. And then one question, Mr. Calvinese, would parents be able to have one-on-one with teachers for check-ins? So how will that work?
one-on-one meetings, you mean?
Yes.
I think, let me think how that would work. Don't see why we wouldn't schedule meetings. I think we could absolutely do that. Through either, I would probably go through your administrator to set up a meeting like you would for any parent meeting. So I would, if you want to do a parent meeting, you just go through the administrator of that grade. That'd be, or the counselor. 6th grade has Ms. Gould, 7th grade has Ms. Cruzado, and 8th grade has Ms. Underwood, and I see Ms. Underwood there as well. So I would just assume it's like regular school. So yes, we would have meetings, and we would take it during a prep time if necessary, or a grade level time. But we would go through the process of just organizing it through your counselor. Just because we want to make sure so one of the biggest things that I'm getting from the state is that we document like attendance and make sure we're tracking meetings like we should do normally. But I think in a remote setting, we want to make sure we're doing that all the time. So that's something we want to make sure we're doing. But yes.
3 more things, Mr. Calvinese. 504s will be followed the same as IEPs, correct?
That's correct. Absolutely.
Then internet, if a family does not have internet.
Yeah, great question. So Springfield Public Schools is working with a deal with Comcast to pay, if you don't have, I think what they're saying is if you don't have cable or any like of that, I think it's Comcast in Springfield, correct? It's Comcast, right? Yeah, it's Comcast.
Yes.
So that if you don't have any of that package, then they will pay, Springfield Public Schools will pay for the Wi-Fi. And so I have to follow up and see where that is, because I believe I'm supposed to get something about a password, or Matt, you're supposed to get one. I haven't heard anything about that, but I know they're negotiating right now to do that. So that's something, we should probably find that out before the next meeting, minimally. Because if there's any Wi-Fi needs, you got to then go through Comcast, which takes time. And that's not always easy. So we'd want to get that answered quick. And I could follow up tomorrow on that. And if anyone wants to, you can privately chat me on this too. If you want to privately chat, or send me an email or Matt an email, and we'll work on trying to get that connected for you. 1,000%.
2 questions, Mike. One is, will there be screen breaks? 6 hours is a long time to be looking at a computer plugged in for the whole time, basically. I would say that your teachers and admin have been doing this all week, and we feel you on the requirement for needing screen breaks. So what we are asking teachers to do is to, 1, build screen breaks into their own classrooms, because on the schedule, students have 80-minute blocks with their students. And also in between each class, there is like a 5-minute break. As well as a 40-minute break in the middle for lunch. And then just note that the flex block that most students will have is independent, and it's not necessarily on the computer screen doing work.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, this week has probably been a great week to know that we definitely need to be given screen breaks, because it's exhausting. So yes, the teachers are going to be working together on how to do that effectively for their kids in GLT, and talk about what that looks like. But yes.
And second question is, will kids in the same household but different schools have the same schedule? Unfortunately, that may not be the case. Every school has their own schedule. So unfortunately, no. If kids are in the same household but different schools, they may have different schedules.
If they're at Kennedy or Duggan, they got a pretty similar schedule. So that's thanks to Ms. Hines. So that's good news. Well, I wish we did some type of fun team building thing here. Can we do something fun for this last few minutes, Mr. Stroud, or what? Put you on the
Yes, we
spot.
can. Yeah, that put me on the spot. You know what? Before we do that, I would just love to also invite all the parents and families who are on the call to be part of helping to make this a great year. We've been meeting as a team, as a teaching team all week, and last week too. And when it's just teachers in the room, we have all these ideas about what it's like for our students while they're going to be going through this. And as much feedback as we can get from you guys about what you need and what your children need to make this successful, we know that this is going to be challenging, and we also have a lot of great plans. So, you know, I just went through the list, and there are about 40 people on this call who are not teachers or Kennedy staff. And if you guys could tell other families that you know from other Kennedy students that you came onto this call and let them know about the calls that are coming. And the more we can build this online community, I think the better it's going to be. So I really invite you to be part of that as much as possible.
I would also, I'm sorry, Steve, I was just answering someone on the chat. I'm just looking at, if someone's saying they can't make the date, I would say if you cannot make the date, email me, email. We will set up a separate call just for you on that, no problem. You just send an email and we'll just take 20 minutes to go over what it, you know, and what, you know, if you can make the date, make the date, but send an email. We'll try to accommodate through just a meeting.
And Mr. Calvin,
a
he
phone
said the
call or-
same thing.
Yeah. We want kids to be ready to rock and roll. I think one of the big things is the week before school starts, we're talking about how we can get it so that way you can come in, pick up some supplies if you need them, books, that kind of thing, and get a schedule. You technically don't even need the schedule. I mean, you could get away with just going on Power School and then seeing your child's schedule. Just know that whatever that is, their bell schedule will align to their school day. But I always, like I said, like paper copies.
Mr. Calvinese, one other question I see in the chat. Will there be makeup days for absences? And if so, what would that look like?
Yeah. So I think makeup would be the same way as if it was school. So there would be a policy that your teacher would have to be more specific on what that is. So that again would go to your classroom expectations. So I would expect teachers on either through their class page or through a syllabus that they post, will talk about their makeup policy. But absolutely, the school's policy is that kids that are absent should be allowed to make it up. Now, here's what I do want to say something about attendance. We are following Springfield Public Schools attendance policy. However, with that said, if you read the policy, I think it says if 3 times you're absent, you need to get a doctor's note. We are going to waive some of those going to the doctor to get notes because of the nature of the situation. You know what I mean? So if we don't want it to be a lot of absences, obviously, but if you have your child out for a day, a lot of times parents like to get a note. Don't do that. You don't need to do that unless you have it. But you don't need to go to the doctor to get a note unless there's something chronic, with attendance. But do not. I have parents that do that a lot in these, and you don't need to do that. It's a waste of your time, quite honestly. Just work with us on that, and we'll help you if your child's not feeling good on a day. But don't, and you would help out Bay State Health because they don't like everyone going down and getting notes. It's too much.
How long will remote schooling be in effect?
Great question. So right now, the school committee, I'll tell you what's been great is watching the school committees meeting on Thursdays on Springfield Focus. And I watch that more now because I get a lot of information on that. And so I would recommend keeping an eye on that because I'm sure a lot of things are gonna come up. And it's not every Thursday, it's like every other Thursday, I believe, or something like that. It's on Springfield Focus, but they're going to be talking about and reevaluating in November the situation. My sense is, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I'm guessing. But knowing that we're in a pandemic and we're not starting in the fall, I find it hard to believe we'll be in November, which is what they're saying. They're going to reevaluate in November when you're going into flu season. So I don't know. the answer to that question. But I know we're reevaluating that, not until November, that we're reevaluating it. And you can track that through the school committee. So I think if you watch the school committee, you'll get a good understanding of how we're heading. And one thing to that point too, you're going to see stuff from the state, you're going to see stuff from the federal government on schools. Ultimately, it's the local government. So ultimately, it is your school committee that will make the decision with your superintendent on what happens in coming back to school. And what's going on right now, one of the things is that we're doing we're evaluating every building with an outside company to check the air quality. And the superintendent and the school committee is not going to let a student come in the building until that process is done and safe.
A couple other questions. One, will we get a paper version of the child's schedule? Yes. We'll be having pickup days during the week of September 11th. The 7th to 11th, we'll be having days for families to come in to pick up materials. So yes, you will be able to get a paper version. Other question, if a child should happen to come to class late due to an 8 a.m. appointment, is that considered tardy? Attendance will be taken in every single class. The school day starts at 7:30. So if they miss the first period, which is crew, then they'd be marked absent for crew. And if they come into, their first block class and midway through, then they'd be marked tardy for that class, but they'd be marked fully present for every class that they are in.
Is that a question to me, Imani? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, sorry. No, I just.
Did you answer it as you went? I heard you say it, but I thought, so I guess, I think you want me to answer that one, right?
Oh, no, I answered them.
You give me the hard ones.
I answered the questions. You're fine.
Oh, you did answer as you went. I'm sorry.
Mr. Calvin,
My wife's running the water upstairs and I'm in the basement. I'm sorry. I should have gone to the building, though. I can't hear anything.
the kids' school schedule will change, or will it stay the same way all the way until November?
It will stay depending on the need of the student, so it won't change. In other words, when I say that, we will be doing, that great point. So we will be doing diagnostic testing, just like we would normally if they were in our building. So they'll be doing iReady testing, and they'll be doing MAP testing. These are diagnostic tests to sort of just see where your child's at. And then we look at that information and then decide if they need additional support in math and reading. And so that might alter a child's schedule. But and as far as MCAS testing, which, you know, the state has not canceled yet, I can't imagine that they're going to do MCAS, but who knows what they're going to do with that. Which is fine with me. I'd rather have them never do MCAS, quite honestly, and just teach.
Yes, emails will be sent to let everybody know when to pick up our packets, so that the specific dates, it will be the week before school starts. So September 8th to the 11th, not on Labor Day, but, and then every day up leading until then. So we will be there and we will send those dates out as well. I do want to, if I can tell a story, Mr. Calvanese.
Absolutely, please.
We were moving over to Kennedy. Mr. Calvanese had a parent meeting, and that was, I think, last spring, so about a year and a half ago. And we went and we sat in the cafeteria waiting for the parents, and we didn't know anybody, and one family showed up. And now, even though we love every family to be here right now, now we have about 50 parents, 50 families in this chat room. And so that growth mindset, getting better and better every day, every year. I think it's an important thing for us, but I think it's an important thing for the school, the school community. So I'm so happy to see all of you here, and I'm excited to see how we do this year. Quick question, if email address is not on file, you can
Yes.
a private message to me, where if you click on my name or to Ms. Hines, pretty much, those two, and we will update it. But I'll send you a note and you can reply to that. And if you currently moved, You update an address. I believe you have to call the Parent Information Center for that.
Yeah, they make an appointment, I think, down there. They'll do
And if
it.
anybody has any of those issues, I believe the phone number is 787-6959. I'll put it in the chat.
Mike, I'm going to let you take this question. Out of curiosity, has the school department addressed the issue of children with working parents? My sense is that no, they have not. But
Yeah.
you may have some more insight.
No, nothing. And that's definitely probably going to come up in the school committee discussions as you go. I think as this happens, there's going to be, it's a challenge. And so, I'm sure school committee members will hear about it, and then there'll be discussion about it. But I haven't heard. I just our biggest thing is we're going to try to be lenient in school policy to some extent, and makeups and whatnot. But we need kids in the attendance piece, and that's huge. So if there is anything with that, I would just say reach out to us and have a conversation with us individually. But we really push to have kids in there immediately, in the class and right away. We got to push them in,
Oh, there was a question about mainstreaming. I'm assuming that is for our students who are in the SEBS program. Our students who were already mainstreamed will continue to be mainstreamed, and we've tried to make a schedule that allows for our students in SEBS to be in those mainstream classrooms, and that same mainstream process will occur. That's for now. One of the challenges that we do have is if the school district does decide for us to be hybrid in November, they are asking for students to not switch classes,
Right.
which is something that you're trying to think through, and particularly for our students who need to go to different places. But as of right now, for remote, those students who were mainstreamed will still be in those same classes for remote for now.
And one way we could work around it with the hybrid, if we come back hybrid where we didn't change classes, maybe we could have a way where they could stay in the class but have access to the teacher through their computer and just go that way with it. But yeah, that's something we're not there yet. But I see we have many teachers here. What can we just, while we're looking at any questions coming through the chat, since we do have a few, can we just quick say hello to any of our teachers that are here when we start?
Mr. Galvanese, before we go there, Imani, do you want to tackle the dojo question?
Oh, the
yes.
dojo class, yeah.
For Class Dojo parents, you do not need to add any teachers to Class Dojo. Before the school year begins, the Class Dojo pages will be built. For our returning students, for our returning families, it'll be auto-populated. You'll just get an invite saying your child's been added to so-and-so's class, and you'll have all the teachers there. And for our new families, you'll also get an invite that'll be asking you to join, but you do not need to add anything on Class Dojo. You will receive a link asking you to join different classes.
Does everybody know what Class Dojo is? Parents?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we will be, Imani, and I know especially 6th grade, they're making a big push. 7th and 8th grade, we're going to do the same thing and getting everybody signed up on Dojo, getting everybody's emails. So Imani, more towards that if you'd like.
I want you.
Okay, so I'm not monitoring the chat. I'm sorry. I didn't see the dojo question. Are there any other questions, Mr. Sullivan, that I'm missing?
No, like Miss Underwood put in the chat, we're creating a middle school form to gather as much information as possible. Oh no, that was for Shroud, but that's what we're planning. I know that. To gather families' information to make sure communication is key because that was one of the tougher things not having that last year. I never had the info for my niece. How can I get that?
It was just responding to that privately, but was just going to say if that's a Class Dojo question, so long if she was, we will add her into the system, and we'll send you an invite. So you don't have to reach out to us to get them in there. But if you, so just asking just asking privately if that's a returning or new student. If it's a returning student and there was a switch there, then we just need to put in a new number. But if it's a new student, then we'll just send you a new invite.
And my wife had wrote some questions on a chat there too.
What name is it under?
Kimberly?
Did Kimberly put it into the chat where everyone can see, or did she maybe send it to someone privately?
I see the question. She's asking, will she know who her daughter's special ed teacher is? She just has some concerns and wanted to touch base. It's a new sixth grade student.
Okay.
And then
Oh yes,
about,
Miss.
and then about a unified classroom sign-in thing because she didn't have that last year. There.
Okay. So in terms of knowing who the teacher is, all incoming sixth graders, those phone calls will be made next week. So you will find out who your teachers are next week. You'll get a phone call. So look out for that.
Okay.
And for unified classroom, if she is she new to the district, or has she been in the district?
No, she's been in the district, but
Okay.
she never did anything on unified class.
I think they use
last year.
Schoology.
Oh, so yeah, that's perfectly okay. We're gonna go over that with families when they pick things up. But just so that you know, for Unified Classroom, it's the same login that she has for everything. So if she's ever gone to that student apps page and had to use Teams or had to use iReady or anything, it's the same exact place that they go to, and it's the same exact login information.
One more question. Teachers actually going to use Class Dojo? And I would say yes. We're hoping that our system works well and that it will be updated daily or weekly. I know many of the teachers update it in the moment.
Yeah, I think that's a good question for the GLT to discuss this week anyway. And then when we have our teacher meeting with the parents to talk about what that communication will look like as far as a network, as far as a grade level, you know. I know we're talking about doing that at Duggan where we're doing a weekly or bi-weekly, just like a bullet point of things to keep an eye on so families all have that. And it might be a nice thing for the teachers to do weekly to sort of during this time. But I'll let you guys, that information is being worked out with grade level teams, I guess is the question. How often they communicate a unified message.
I would also say do not expect that the Class Dojo points will be as robust as they are typically used in elementary school for our incoming sixth graders. The teachers typically are not tracking or giving points for every behavior, but we do use it as a point of communication and as a point of just like reference to give like overall what's going on in class. I do have a question here of will gym or PE be part of the curriculum? If so, how will it be implemented? I can give a little bit, Matt, maybe you could probably give more, that we do have our encore classes built into our schedule. So during this regular school week, students have encore twice a week. And that would be either art or visual arts or PE. I'm forgetting what our other one is. Leadership, those three. Mindfulness.
Yep.
Those three, and they will have that twice a week. And our PE and our encore teachers have been in trainings this week to try to figure out what exactly does that look like in a remote setting.
And
just to clarify though, not all students will have gym.
I want to say last year it looked like the PE teachers giving the students challenges that they could do at home, activities to do at home, and kind of logging what they did at home. So, like a virtual visit to the gym. Mr. Calvanese, and I think we can probably answer this question as well. Will there be some type of trial run with parents for the systems that we will be using to make sure everything works as planned? And I would say yes. We can do what we can in our next meetings, which are going to be grade level meetings. We're going to call them orientations, where we're going to split off into 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And we'll be able to go over and show you guys some stuff there. And if we can get the families working on it, that would be great too.
Yeah, actually, while you're on Zoom, you could log into your child's computer. So that would be a great exercise for us to do that. So in our next meeting, that could be part of what we do and go through like Unified Classrooms or Outlook and see the student schedules and get all their, where their assignments will be posted and those kinds of things.
I'm seeing that the students do not need to be at the orientation. We welcome them. It's probably really useful information for them to be hearing what you're hearing. So it'll be very useful, and we definitely welcome them. They're not banned from orientations. So yeah, that's that question. This one from Lee Michelle, I'm gonna message you privately. But anyone else who has questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
And Ms. Hines, I already responded, so we should.
Oh, good, great.
One of the teachers mentioned today that having a, you could, if you're concerned about light, there was some type of, what was the glasses they were saying you
Blue
could
light
purchase?
filter glasses. You can find them at CVS. They may even have them at Dollar Tree now. They're pretty much everywhere. They're just glasses that filter out the harsh light that come from looking at technology. And they make it a bit more bearable to be in front of the screen.
I'll be picking that up. And I think there's also an opportunity, like if you're struggling with anything with technology, where you wanted to come into the building and we follow the CDC guidelines, we could run something like that with you, as far as if you're really having any issues that we can't work through on Zoom, so know that will be something we could schedule, in small groups, I'll just make Mr. Sullivan show up to it.
He'll just send me to school or to your house if you need. But in all reality, if you do need help, like say something maybe isn't connecting correctly, feel free to reach out, because we'll be on the road as well, making sure that your kids have, and our kids now, especially for the 6th graders, have what they need. So we're here for you, and we appreciate you being there for us, because I'm not saying the word unprecedented, but we're learning and we're getting there. We're going to get it back to precedented, as somebody said today, as much as we can.
And it's almost 6:30. I don't want to hold people all day, all night. I just want to say one more thing, and then if a quick whip around with teachers, if we could, and answer any questions. One is, once we get going, we will be doing some meetings about our vision and mission of our school. We're going to do some work around that this year. And knowing, like Mr. Sullivan said, there's many people on the call. We love to have you a part of that conversation when we look at not just mission or vision, but we're looking at some policies that we have in our school. One topic is going to be uniform policy, I'm sure. And so we'd love to hear from you on that, as well as our start and end times when we do eventually come back to school, talk about calendar for the following year and bring families in on that. So that Zoom has been a great thing. And the one good thing about this challenge is that we've gotten better with technology as a community, and I think as I know I have, and that will help you with outreach too, because it's not always easy to make it to the school building. So this would be a great opportunity to do it from your car or wherever you got to do it from, to just connect. But I want to thank you for your time today. I hope everyone's well. God bless all of you, and I hope you're all safe and everyone's everyone's good. I know there's probably been a lot of challenges out there as well. So just know that we're all in this together, really are. So thank you for being on the call. How about a quick whip around with our teachers? You mind if we do a quick just hello? Who do we got? Someone go.
I'm Christine Lassard. I'm the Director of Intervention.
I'm Kai Garcia. I teach 7th grade substantially separate special education.
Hi, I'm Deborah Lord, and I'm going to be going to 8th grade ELA this year. Last year I was in grade 6. Now I'm going to be in grade 8.
I'm Elise Morse Gagne, and I'm a new 6th grade ELA teacher at Kennedy.
I'm Victoria Gaskins, and I'm 6th grade special education.
Hello, my name is Miss Kim, and I'm 6th grade math.
Jeff Copeland, 6th grade SEBS and math.
I'm Rainey Gould, 6th grade counselor.
I'm Victoria. I teach 7th grade special education math.
Hi, I'm Helen Vu. I work with Miss D. I will be 7th grade special ed ELA.
Hi, I'm Veronica Underwood. I'm the 8th grade counselor.
Hi, I'm Miss Varner, and I do 6th grade Tier 3 math.
I see Ms. Preventure there.
Yeah, Ms.
I
Preventure.
see Ms.
you're up.
Preventure there.
You're up.
Hold on, I gotta unmute.
I got you.
You're on mute.
You got me? Hi, I'm Monica Preventure. I'm a principal clerk in the main office.
That's
phenomenal, principal clerk.
calling when you need help with computers or
The
books.
savior of all things.
She does
Did
it
we
all.
miss it? Did we miss anyone?
Yes, Miss D'Alessandro.
I'm not necessarily a teacher, but I'll be working at the school as like with the counseling team. I think I'm an AmeriCorps member this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank the staff for being here. It's been a long day for them, and thank the families as well for being here. And we're gonna make this a great year with the challenges and whatnot. We're gonna make this a great year, and so we thank you for everything. And we will see you at our next meeting. And reach out if you need anything at all, please.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Tell the kids hello.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to work with. You're just grabbing like.
I will look at my phone now.
I was like, she's probably unplugged right now, so I
don't
got
have
the answer that I
I don't have a text from you.
What? Did you change your number?
No, yes, I do.
Okay. I got the info. I needed.
Another teacher texted me also, and it's above yours.
Rude. Good night.
Okay, bye.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye, Mr. Shroud. Bye, Amani.
Bye.
See you guys.